Welcome. In this video, I'm going to tell you why my clients initiate with a scarf. Stay with me. I'm going to tell you how to do it and how it helps you get in the mood. Let me tell you about one of my couples, Bob and Barb. They were in a sexless relationship, tired of trying to figure it out. They'd been going to therapy, still wasn't really addressing their sex life. Whenever Bob would try to have sex with Barb, he would hear the excuses: tired, busy, kids, headache, dishes, meds, moods, menopause, whatever the reason is for them or for you, trust me. There are so many reasons. I've heard them all, and you're not alone. Bob is trying to get sex, but it feels like a chore. Even when they do have sex, it feels like a chore. So he's thinking, why bother? He's done initiating. He's hanging out in the garage, taking care of himself. He feels like she doesn't love him, like she doesn't want him, like she doesn't want sex. But the truth is, she does love him. She does want sex. But they're both missing the connection. Now the only thing between them is distance, resentment, frustration, arguments. Maybe you know that feeling. They feel like they're with the wrong person, but you're not with the wrong person. You're just missing the intimacy. Bob feels like everything he does is wrong, like he can't do anything right. That's not true. Bob, you know what you're doing. That's how you got there in the first place. There's a coach, football coach, John Wooden, who said, it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. And that's why I'm here. I'm Amy Culler. I've been named the best intimacy coach because I offer real solutions for men and couples, helping them navigate intimacy, sex, love, and relationships, especially if you're dealing with things that therapy or doctors really can't address. If there's a lack of intimacy for whatever reason, trust me, I've heard them all, and you're not alone. You can't figure it out on your own. You don't have to figure it out on your own. I'm here with an approach that works. I've delivered a popular TED Talk. I've written a book, The Huddle, How to Score in Sex and Love. It's written for guys. I've got a program called the Intimacy Game Plan where I take you from roommates to playmates, your individual and shared goals. I'm here with real solutions. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Let's go. You want to initiate? Initiate means to start. And an initiation is a secret ritual that gives you access to a private place. Intimacy isn't just something you do. It's a place you go together, and I'm going to teach you how to lead her to that place. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Bob is trying to have a playful relationship. He wants to initiate, start the game. So he grabs her by the ass, but she goes, as soon as somebody goes, they're startled. That's their defenses going up. The same as if Barb were to go to Bob and say, want to talk? He'd go, and his defenses would go up. Other times, Bob would go to her and he'd try to communicate what he wants, like a normal human. He'd say, hey, Barb, want to have sex? But that's a lot of pressure. That's like going to her and saying, want to hit a home run? She's thinking of all the things it's going to do to take that. Because the problem is we think of sex as penetration and an orgasm as a goal. That is the performance pressure for her and sometimes Bob. That's why in my work, and you're here with me in our group, you're with me now, we are redefining sex as pleasure, which means that when you're initiating going to that place to share pleasure. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Getting better. So now you know where to start. So when you want to get in the mood, you want to have a state change. Like when you're entering a restaurant or when you get on the football field, you have a state change. Even if you've gone from the locker room to the football field, you're making a state change. So instead of initiating sex, you're initiating a state change. And that is my favorite tool is the scarf. It creates an immediate state change as soon as it touches you. So what I want Bob to do in the living room while they're watching TV or a movie is to put the scarf on her hand, just her hand, and start to give her pleasure. Changes the experience for Bob so he's not touching her in the same way. Changes the experience for the giver and the receiver. And his job, he can just drag the little scarf on it And she let out an mm. Now, remember that startle feeling is a trigger on your nervous system that makes your defenses go up, and that is the click of it unlocking, opening, having access to that private place, dropping the defenses. That's that open sound, and is the sound of satisfaction. When Bob gets that sound from Barb, he's like, ooh, I got that sound from her. And for Barb, she is conveying her satisfaction to Bob. She's going, oh, that does feel good. This is your body's language of pleasure. You're turning off the brain. This cues your body for a sensual connection, and it makes you aware of both of each other. She is aware of the giver and of the scarf. It just changes the experiences. This cues your sensual pleasure. That sound. So then when you want to have sex, I'm telling you, the most important thing is anticipation is the best aphrodisiac. So now Bob has a way to pre-initiate. He can say, hey, but how about tonight or tomorrow night? I bring the scarf to the bedroom. How about we go have some scarf in the bedroom? It's a great way to initiate. Then when you get to the bedroom, I want you to start with the scarf. Initiate means to start. This is your initiation. This is your secret ritual. So lay the scarf over her body and really slow down. Enjoy looking at the scarf on her body like it's beautiful. Just stand back and go, wow, that's wow. And then drag it a little bit and watch her skin underneath the scarf. It's changing your sensory perception, taste, touch, sound, sight, and touch, all of it. Take it in and enjoy it. Slow down, both of you, and enjoy these moments. When I heard from Barb after the first time they did this exercise, she said to me, he commented on my skin. This is everything. And I said, yeah, this is it. When I had first talked to Bob and I said, what does she want? He's saying to me, actually, what does she want? And I said, well, when you're in therapy, what is it that she says she wants when you're in regular couples therapy? And he said, she wants me to see her, to hear her, to be with her. So I'm there every week. I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm there with her. What more does she want? This is what she wants. She wants you to hear her sounds of pleasure and understand her body. See her body, he commented on her skin, and be with her in her most vulnerable state, which is intimacy and erotic, her state of pleasure. They got more out of one little exercise than they did out of years of therapy. Start every encounter with a scarf. This is your key. It transforms the moment. It helps you make that transition from regular world to, a sensual world. Okay. And next in the program, they learn to take turns. So this encounter may have been all about her, but the next one's going to be all about him. She's going to use that scarf on him. You are two completely different people with different moods, appetites, and languages, but this turns you on instead of turning you off. It is your tool, and you get to build techniques, and you're increasing your skills. You can have, and I suggest you do, different scarves for different moods. Bob's having a bad day at work. He doesn't want to talk about it. He called Barb and he said, get the green scarf. And she tells me, she's like, ooh, she knows what that is. I love this. And here's a tip for you. Cheap lace, like a cheap lace scarf, is really scratchy, and that can feel really good. Playing with and exploring the sensual pleasure, this is the best part, and you're initiating in a way that works for both of you. This is great. And I mean, for Bob and Barb and all of my clients, it goes outside of the bedroom too. Bob can find himself at work, opens up his briefcase and finds that she's put a scarf in there. Talk about encouragement, talk about anticipation. She goes away on a business trip and she opens up her suitcase and there's a scarf in there. Bob is really getting good at it. He's planning a date night. He knows exactly what to plan for her. They're really into each other. She goes to dinner. She gets to dinner and pulls a scarf out of her purse and puts it around her neck. That is her initiating, right? The scarf gives you both a way to communicate your wants and desires where words fall short. Does this make sense? And it's really important to have these cues, these little reminders of your emotional and physical connection. Whether you're having difficult conversations, hard days, sad days. Barb contacted me one time saying it was her heart day, her time to receive, but that Bob's going through a hard time, so she's going to let him off the hook. And I'm like, no, when he's going through a hard time, he needs to know that you're there for him too. So get the scarf and go up to him and put it around his neck so that he can know that you're there. He can receive you. And we thought he would just hug her and hold and cry, but instead he started pulling at the scarf and expressing his sadness and his anger. And he started pulling at her. And she shared with me that they made love from a most intense, expressive place. She didn't know where he began and ended. It was so amazing. I have a step-by-step formula that literally teaches you all of these things. If you've got questions or things that are coming up for you or other problems, please let me know. You can ask me anything. If you've learned something from this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a note in the comments. Let me know what you've learned. What is your biggest takeaway from this? Will you try initiating with a scarf? Oh, yes, you will. Or please at least leave me a heart in your favorite color, because my name is Amy Color. And if you're ready for real solutions, if you're ready to stop figuring it out, apply for the intimacy game plan, go from roommates to playmates, transform your relationship quickly. These little techniques and hacks really work. If you want to have a winning, intimate team, an intimate relationship, that takes a plan. Just like that football team. If you want to get good at something, you have a practice, a plan, and a coach that understands your individual and your team goals. I have a step-by-step formula that you can be confident lovers so that you can initiate, make it to the comfort zone, explore all of the pleasure zone, get to the O zone, the end zone, and it just keeps getting better and better. I want you to feel seen, heard, understood, and desired. This is everything. The intimacy game plan, a practice, and a coach. Don't use the same old moves. Don't have the same old arguments. It's not working. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just not working. You're going to stay stuck. You can't figure this out. Stop feeling rejected and start having the love. Hope is here, right here, honey. It's time for real solutions. So you'll find a link in the description that'll get you directly to my calendar where you can talk to me, and together we'll find out if the intimacy game plan is right for you. I'll give you a strategy and a game plan. In the meantime, stay connected to yourself, each other, and me, and we'll see you soon.